Do-do-do-do-do. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? And it's Hump Day. That means it's Wednesday. It's Wicked Wednesday Tea Day. It's your boy, OG Big Sam, aka Mr. White, in the building. Gonna be getting into all of the few subjects. And most notably, Kyle Pitts being one. We're gonna get into the Knicks shooting themselves in the foot. Uh, with the firing of Tibbs. Um, might even get a little Braves talk off in here for this here episode. Um, what the hell? My good buddy was it's supposed to be coming. I know Young Knight will be joining us as well. Um, the state of of the New York Knicks. Just to open up with it a little bit. The state of the New York Knicks. The Knicks are going to be the Knicks, man. I'm not even understanding the free fall of fallacy. Okay, you work this hard. You get to the Eastern Conference Finals. You had enough talent on that team. Because I said it when the trade happened, when they got Cat, that's gonna put them in these conference finals, and they got there. Okay, you know, and then you cite philosophical differences, and not make, things happen in the heat of the moment, but you don't fire a guy who instrumentally orchestrated you getting to those said Eastern Conference Finals. You know what I'm saying? And even though, Mike Malone is rumored to be probably next in line to take that job, which would be an excellent hire behind this dumb fire. But I just think it was just a dumb move. I think it's a knee-jerk reaction, a dumb reaction, you know what I'm saying, to the loss. All right, you got where you got to. I understand, I kind of understand the sense of urgency, if you will, but I don't think coaching was your not even your biggest. It was a problem at all. Now, if there are guys on the team that cannot handle hard coaching, strict coaching, you know what I'm saying, a strict mind, you know what I'm saying, then them guys on that team need to grow the fuck up. Cause I don't understand. I don't understand that firing at all. Tibbs is one of the better coaches, you know what I'm saying, in the NBA. You know what I mean? One of the better defensive minded coaches at that. What is he doing? What up, man?
What's going on?
Much, at the moment discussing the New York Knicks firing Tibbs, which I'm quite sure you know about. What is your thought on that?
You mean the Knickerbocker bumblefuck that they done did?
Yeah, the Knicks being
Like,
Knicks.
what the fuck? So let me get this right. I've been watching shit on YouTube about this shit all fucking day. You mean to tell me this coach that you brought in has took you to the playoffs 4 out of the five years he's been there. Took you to back-to-back 50 win seasons. And the Eastern Conference Final.
Yes.
None of they haven't been doing in the past 25 years. Um,
You haven't
but
seen this level of playoff since I think it when Melo did they make the East Conference Finals?
no,
Were they didn't they got to the semifinals. Yeah, but
it's been a long time.
yeah, since you and Pat Riley days,
Yes,
you know.
they were 2 wins away from going to the NBA Finals, and you fire
Yeah,
your head coach over two
yeah,
fucking wins.
yeah,
Let's bypass the defensive, you know, blind mice shit that y'all was doing in some of those games against the Indiana Pacers. We're not gonna talk about that, but we're gonna fire our head coach because we 2 wins. Come on, man, miss me with that. Mm.
yeah.
I'm I'm gonna say this. Um,
Yes, sir.
Out of the last 11 coaches the New York Knickerbockers have had, they've won a total of 31 playoff games. 7 of those playoff games were won by Mike Woodson. The other 24 were Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah.
Um, I
That
mean,
part.
I've heard a couple of complaints, about his rotations and all that shit there. But whatever the fuck he was doing worked to get them into the Eastern Conference Finals. It's no secret what type of coach that Tom Thibodeau is. A real hard nosed, kind of old
Yeah.
school, up in your
Mm-hmm.
face, play
Right,
defense, and he ain't
right.
he ain't kissing no players' asses and all that stuff there.
And he should.
Um, and it's sad to say those type of coaches are becoming extinct. There are very few coaches that are still around that's like that. I wouldn't be surprised if this was Thibodeau's last job. Thibodeau might just say the hell with it and just ride on off because now don't none of these NBA teams want any type of coach that got any type of backbone or ain't scared to let his nuts hang and say what the fuck is on his mind. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of blame to toss around if you want to talk about um why they lost. But to fire him was a knee jerk reaction, like Sam said. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it it don't make sense. You ain't been to a conference finals in 24 years. The coach to get you there, you fire him
Hmm.
because you listening to them whining ass fans.
Yep.
But I'm not a Knicks fan, so fuck the Knicks. I, I, I
I
but
hate them bitches.
but nevertheless, I think they fucked up by firing Tibbs because see now it's gonna be hard to get a. No matter what coach come in there now, uh, 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 um, they ain't gonna get no respect. Um,
No,
um,
true.
Malone, listen, they don't listen. If they couldn't handle Tibbs, they don't want Malone either.
Look, truth. This is going to be the expectation now. Either you get us to the finals, or you're going to get fired.
Yeah,
Because that's basically what you're saying.
yeah. So now, it's gonna be hard for you to get a coach to come in and agree to coach with y'all because y'all done made unless it was something personal. Unless it was something personal, y'all done made it. Y'all done already set. Y'all done made a basically you got a stipulation: either get to the finals or win the championship or lose your job. And I heard a couple people say it was year 5 and it was time. But but they improved each year though, up under him. They literally
Facts.
improved each year up under him.
Facts.
Like every year they improved up under him, and he lost his job because he didn't make it to the finals. When really, honestly, he wasn't even supposed to have been in the Eastern Conference Finals if
Nope.
Boston Neither one of those teams would have been in the Eastern Conference Finals if Boston and Cleveland handled their business.
Bingo.
So
Well,
they got their little feelings hurt. Listen, that first game, it got their feelings hurt. And you want to know the truth? As great as Brunson played, that first game, they was up by 2. And Brunson got his 5th foul. The Knicks went on a 14-2 run with Brunson on the bench.
yep.
He brought Brunson back in because why? Because listen, the money said you better bring him back on the floor. Or Indiana started their run, wound up tying it, and going to overtime. Now, I'm not blaming Jalen Brunson at all, but he had to put Brunson back on the floor. You can't leave Brunson over there on the bench. That
That's
game
true.
right there, if the Knicks had won that game, they would have had a game 7 in it. We would have saw a game 7 in New York.
Yeah.
But they tricked that
Yeah.
game out bad. They was up 16, excuse me. They was up 14. They was up 14 just outside of 2 minutes and lost the fucking game.
Yep.
I mean, how much
It was
I
up by
mean,
double digits. with
I can't
51
look over there
seconds
to the
left.
bench and say, Tibbs, you coached a shitty 2.5 minutes. I can't look over to the bench for that. Blowing a lead that big, that fast, that's on the guys on the floor.
Mm.
You know,
Not
Yeah.
making free throws. Your defense is sorry as shit. But let's blame the coach.
Yeah. Now, from
they had a guy had made 3 threes. I'm gonna say that, then we can go. He had already. Once a guy make 3 threes, he hot, bro. So listen, you gotta jump whatever your plan is. And, hey, we going boxing one on this dude right here. Cause Nimhart that's who killed him. We're not gonna let him beat us now. He done made 3 straight threes, this motherfucker hot, and he kept on making them. You know, but that's about
well,
it. I think it was wrong to 5 minutes.
as far as appeasing the fans, because you might be dead spot on, you know what I'm saying, with this. They're probably going to have to do this in-house. There's a guy that's upstairs that they brought back this past year and put him in the organization. Might be the only thing that's going to appease their fan base, and
It's
that's
got to be
Patrick
somebody.
Ewing.
It got to be somebody that's grandfathered in. Somebody who's a
And
former Knick.
it's Patrick Ewing.
Yep. That'll be a good hire. That'll be a
It's
good hire
Patrick Ewing.
because the Knick fans will be patient with Patrick Ewing.
This is probably that's probably the only name, because you were right about what you said about Mike Malone. You know what I'm saying? He's the best coach out there. You know what I'm saying? But if they couldn't, if this is something that the players, as well as the fans, you know what I'm saying, were okay with, they're not going to be happy with Malone, because Malone and Tibbs are cut from the same cloth.
And I heard Carmelo Anthony name done got into the coaching hat. It wouldn't be bad to go get him.
You know, you're right what you're saying. You're
Because
right what you're saying.
they said the Denver Nuggets was looking at him. That's about the
Ooh,
only, that about the only, these about the, they're about these about the only guys you gonna get these players to listen to are guys that's just coming up out of the game. They're not gonna listen to no guy who was a video game coordinator and just wound up learning how to do X's and O's. They're not gonna listen to no guy that's too old.
right, right. Well, we've established that, you know, that that move, it was just a dummy move. You know what I'm saying? To work that far to get, you know what I'm saying, to get to the East Conference Finals to fire
And
your coach.
an emotional move.
Yeah. And
Your
with
fans, your fans drug y'all for not beating the Pacers. See that can
mhm.
also be a respect level to the Pacers. They probably the New York fans don't feel like they should have lost to Indiana. They probably would have respected it more if they had got knocked out of the finals by maybe Boston. You know what I'm saying?
They
They
still
probably,
got PTSD from Reggie Miller.
Right. And he did it to him.
Yeah. So, with the firing of Tibbs, the New York Knicks get Sports Tea Dummy of the Week. Is my, solidified nomination. Because it's a dummy move. You're firing a coach with a defensive pedigree, has a championship pedigree. It's just, and you let him work. The team got, like True said, the team got better and better and better each year, and to get 2 wins away from going to the finals and to fire guys, it makes no sense. Because, truth be told, what I'm saying, coaching was your issue. What wasn't your issue? The defensive effort was your issue. Chemistry was your issue.
yeah. Sometimes you just lose because that's just it was in the cards for you to lose. Like I mean, it's easy because it's a lot of dissecting. Folks dissecting Bronson's defense. Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, folks dissect the cat. See, first of all, you can't dissect cat because uh when cat flew in the building, cat flew into town, and y'all got to the Eastern Conference Finals with him at
Yeah.
center. So I don't care that about all these other thoughts about cat. A lot of motherfuckers would be look at cat and look at his mannerisms, all that shit. That's the first thing come out when they go to talking about him. But when it come to basketball, you can't name me 5 centers in the game better than him. Maybe not even 4. You know.
If your first inclination is to try to, judge the motherfucker's manhood, then you need to check your own. You need to check your own. I'm just saying, if that's your first inclination, not his game. You know what I'm saying? Not his game, not what I'm saying, anything from a coach's perspective, but his manhood. Yeah, you need to check your own.
Well, goddamn,
Yeah.
look, I don't know nothing about his manhood, but hell, I seen him goddamn walking into some type of goddamn red carpet shit, holding hands with a bad motherfucker, unless that motherfucker was born a man or something.
Right.
So, I mean, hell,
Well,
he must be doing something, but so motherfuckers kill me when they want to judge folk.
right, right. You're quick to judge. Well, we're gonna step on forward to our next, the meat topic already, because I'm quite sure this is gonna have, what I'm saying, a good bit of dialogue. Kyle Pitts and the miseducation that is. To you armchair GMs, you fantasy football owners, uh, you porch couch team owners, on Madden. You do understand when you pick up a guy's 5th year option, that does mean he's not going anywhere. Y'all do understand that, right? And clearly a lot of you don't. Um, and the only entity out there that of any formidable notice, other than CBS, that have been
If
trying to push.
here's the thing, here's the thing, Sam.
Yeah.
If they were gonna trade him, Once they would have traded him immediately when they picked up that option.
Yeah,
Boom. If they didn't
yeah.
do it immediately, he ain't going nowhere.
If it didn't
He-
happen during the draft because the damn Dallas Cowboys was hot and heavy on our damn phone. Let's just put that out there. Jerry them and them Cowboys was on our phones on day 2 like no other. Okay, trying to get that man. If we was gonna trade him, we would have traded him on day 2 of the damn draft. Okay, you know what I'm saying? It didn't go that way, and it's not gonna go that way. He is here, and he's going
And
to be here.
let me say this: the Falcons could easily change their mind and decide to trade him. If so, so be it. But it would have made more sense to trade him right when they picked up the option if they knew they
Mm-hmm.
wasn't going to keep him. Because you don't want to a guy like that. You don't want to let him walk for free. Even though,
Right.
first of all, Kyle Pitts. Let's walk through his career. Everybody know about his first year. His first year, he was 50 some yards away from breaking a record for rookie tight end. His second year, he got hurt halfway through the season, and his injury pretty much hobbled him through his third year. Let's call it for what it is. All right. Fourth year, which was last year, what he had, over 600 yards and what, I don't forgot how many balls he caught.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, folks, that's not bad for a tight end. Yo, that's really not bad for a tight end.
He
You can't
caught
expect
47 balls and had like almost 700 yards last year with 4
that's
touchdowns.
that's not bad. That's not almost 50 balls is not catches are not bad for tight end.
I think
Now
that
now you got to also consider he would have had a couple more catches. He had a few drops. Now listen, man, Pitts is part of the plan moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to give him a chance. This going to be one of those situations where the Falcons going to give Pitts enough rope to hang himself. It's the ball is completely in his court. All right. Um, I I I doubted the Falcons trade Kyle Pitts. And you rest assured if they do, they got a plan in action. But I doubt if they trade Kyle Pitts. He's part of what's going on moving forward with our offense, which I think is going to be. Which I'm gonna predict right now. I'm saying the Falcons going to have a top 5 to 7 offense. As there's basically no way around it, given that we don't go through get hit with a major injury or two. You know,
Now that now that you said that, um, you heard last week Zach Robinson, what I'm saying, talking about his expanding of his play, being able to expand his play calling, what I'm saying, even more this year. And with that being said, the tight end expectations looming large, what I'm saying, for the Falcons, because the tight ends are going to be a big part of this offense in more ways than one.
I'll be
Now,
back. Give me about five
uh-huh,
minutes. I'm gonna jump back in. I'll be back.
now franchise, you know, with him and Joshua and what's the young man name? Warner. Do you agree to like what I said before about them being able to play off each other?
they're definitely gonna be able to play off each other. Because I mean, each one can make each other better. Because Charlie Warner can teach. Well, he can teach both. All three of them. Can teach each other how to block better, and how to pinpoint the ball. in the red zone, and
Yep.
stuff like that. Well, there's little things that they can teach each other.
I mean, cause I believe that our red zone percentage is going to go up even higher this season.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have this belief, that Kyle Pitts should be, giving us, 2,000 yards, 25 touchdowns, 200 catches, with some fantasy football madness bullshit.
This ain't college. They ain't happening.
Right, NCAA 26,
No.
numbers. But me with the numbers he had last year, I think if you add maybe 20 more catches to that, and maybe 200 more yards, that would be, a pretty, nice season for Kyle Pitts. If maybe, double digit touchdowns, anywhere from 10 to 11, something to that effect. Because I think that young man Joshua Simon is gonna be he's gonna be the Falcons version of likely up there in Baltimore.
I could see that.
You know what I'm saying? And especially if you're looking at what they've been doing with him in practice, and you know what I'm saying, and what he's showing, I think it's going to be easy. I think it's going to be real easy for us to have some like a Mark Andrews likely combination, with yards and catches, underneath, over the top, outside, red zone, between those two guys. If you're out here expecting, you know, triple digit catches from Kyle, then you're overestimating yourself. You're overestimating your expectations. We have too many weapons. We have too many weapons. And if you look at the offense from last year, and then you look at what has been added, there are too many weapons to be expecting anybody, on this offense to have 100 catches.
Yeah.
I think on average across the board, you're going to get, 60, 70, in some likely cases. You might have, Drake might have 90 catches. Because he's like I said before, he's a tweener. He's a faster Keyshawn Johnson. Anquan Bolden, Hines Ward, with more speed type of receiver. He plays physical because he can, and he can get gone. He'll have less catches than he did last year, but would have the same impact, if you can understand that.
Yep.
And then you got Mooney, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And then who's to say Nash may come up as another weapon? You know what I mean? Skinner may turn up as another weapon. Washington, our draft pick from last year, he may come up as a weapon because he was Phoenix's practice squad partner.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So we got to really understand, our complete compilation of skill set players that are going to be, possible weapons in this offense, and we have a lot of them. We have a lot of them. We have a lot of weapons. And we have an office coordinator who you know what I'm saying, in his second year has a chance now to get deeper in his bag and tinker around with some things, you know what I'm saying, that could, possibly work, that could be, go-to plays or go-to players in certain situations. You know what I'm saying? From the tight end room to the receiver room and even in the running back room. You know what I'm saying? Our running backs are capable of receiving weapons as well. And then you look at the addition to that room. Then Nathan Carter, he was a good receiver out of the backfield at Michigan State. So I mean, the possibility of weapons. I mean, people, you have to understand. You know what I'm saying? It would be one thing if we didn't have this complexity of talent. Then I could almost understand the expectation of Kyle Pitts having, what I'm saying, monstrous numbers, number one receiving numbers. You know what I'm saying? I could almost understand that then. But it is, too much talent on this offense. To be having the mindset of Kyle Pitts should have 100 catches in 1,800 yards. No, not with the bodies on this offense. You got Tyler, you got Bijan, Mooney, Drake, Ray. You add in Nash and Simon and Skinner. You know what I'm saying? It is a lot of weapons on this offense to be expecting your number one tight end to have number one receiver numbers. I'm just, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's just my perspective on it.
I expect a whole lot of balance on this offense. I expect a whole lot. I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons have like four more guys with 75 or more catches.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. You know,
that what I was saying. Balance across the board, 65, 70, 80 catches, you know what I'm saying? Something to that effect. You know, I mean, it's not far fetched. Especially if Zach Robinson is able to get in his bag, you know what I'm saying, like he was referring to, and being able to open up his particular playbook and then, you know what I'm saying, to do and assess some things with, you know what I'm saying, the talent and the weaponry that's on this offense. I mean, and then, especially with the tight end room, you got two, definitely two guys now in the tight end room, you know what I'm saying, that could be viable weapons. Short, immediate, you know what I'm saying, and over the top, outside range, you know what I'm saying, red zone. Our tight end room could you know what I'm saying, between Simon and Pitts could be very, very deadly in the red zone. You know, shit. What you think, True? Did we lose
my
him?
fault. My fault. My fault. I had muted. But what's gonna make our tight ends even more dangerous is those two guys we got in the backfield. Like in the red zone, you're gonna have to. Ain't no way around it. You're gonna have to pay attention to either 7 or 25. You're gonna have to. We,
Right.
I mean, it's got to be an option, especially the 25s back there. But so that's gonna make you tight end. See, ain't no doubling pits down there. Ain't no doubling the tight end. Now you can't
Yeah.
double the tight end. You double the tight end, double tight end. I'm gonna spot that. Then next play, I'm I'm going right where he was. And when you send two men with him, I'm just gonna run the goddamn running back right behind him.
Yeah, I believe his second year Zach Robinson offense, it's going to be hard to double and shell Pitts over the top like a lot of teams were doing last year. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, the Mad One has joined the conversation. Um, I gather that you've probably been listening. So, what would be your assessment or perspective on this?
On the tight end room.
Yeah,
Um, to be honest, there's a lot of speculation on whether or not Kyle will be traded. I just don't see how that would be an intelligent move. It's not a smart move. Um, Largely due to the fact if you already had an opportunity to draft a guy, like you had the opportunity this. I mean, obviously this past draft, but like they did nothing. So that to me that tells me that Kyle Pitts is here to stay for at the least this season. So I don't see Kyle Pitts going, but like I'm not one to get. I'm probably the wrong person to talk about rookies because like you got to show me. Look, you got to show me the money first before I start believing in you. That goes for anybody. I look, some motherfuckers do a whole lot of talking, but they don't bag shit up with facts, stats, of the truth. Like expectations and telling me what you can do, like that shit don't work with me. You got to show me what you about. And I mean that by Joshua Simon, not saying that he's not a good prospect because he got the same, almost the same skill sets of a Kyle Pitts, but like that doesn't always translate in the NFL.
that's true. That's true. I mean, but just by the film, and what he did in South Carolina, you know, it's that is a true assessment. You have to let the kid get out there and get in real life game situations. I ain't talking
Yeah.
about this preseason, but in real life game situations to actually know that okay, he gonna get in here and he's gonna beat the double teams. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If double team like Kyle Pitts had to deal with the double and the triple team.
Mm-hmm.
People have it in. They got this fantasy football mad mindset that he's supposed to be putting up number one receiver numbers, and he's a tight end. Okay, I, you know, and then you trying to put Joshua Simon in that spot and thinking, okay, yeah, well, he'll definitely do better than what Kyle Pitts did. How do you know that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
We don't know everything.
he's a great blocking tight end. He's a
Yeah.
great mid to short, what I'm saying, route runner. What I'm saying, from a tight end perspective. But can he get down to peel and beat a double coverage or beat a double coverage that has a shell over the top? Can he do that?
That's what we don't
But
know.
we don't know that.
Okay.
Would say, Mike.
But that's what we don't know. I agree. We don't know that. Like I said, he looks like Kyle Pitts when we watching him. He does look like him when you see him on film, but
Mm-hmm.
like Kyle Pitts, we've seen Kyle Pitts put up Pro Bowl numbers. He hasn't. We got to give this guy opportunity to showcase what he can do. Again, people can talk a whole lot of game and they can talk a gang of shit, but I want to see you be able to back it up against the best of the best of the best of the best of the best, not just talk about it.
Yeah, because there are some good safeties and linebackers in the game now. You can't. There's some guys at those positions that you just can't run by.
Yes.
You know, you know what I'm saying. Now, you know, I think also you have to take in consideration the quarterback's frame of mind. You know what I'm saying, in doling the
Right.
ball out to weapons because we got a lot of weapons. I mean, who to say I mean, Kyle may get the same numbers he got last season, and then you know what I'm saying, and then Simon has those exact same numbers. We're talking about what the possibility of having 96 catches just between the two of them. 40, 48, 48 catches each, and then what are y'all gonna say? We got two tight ends. We got 48, 49, maybe 50 catches each. 600-700 yards each. Then what the complaint gonna be then?
Well, you got certain people. We got certain people in this fan base that's going to forever be critical of Kyle Pitts because of where he was drafted and who we passed over to draft him.
Man, they can get over that. I mean, y'all are mad about a player that got 5.5 sacks. A player that we didn't draft, they got 5.5 sacks. Come on now. There'd be one thing the boy had.
That ain't who they mad about.
Okay.
Who you talking about?
Shit. Both of them were Georgia boys.
Oh no. Pitts. That was a Justin Fields draft.
Well, yeah. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's now on his third team. Yeah. All right. Okay. He's on his third team.
And then you got some folks saying, "How can you build a team around a tight end?"
It's been happening for years, man. The Baltimore Ravens won the Super Bowl off a tight end. 2 tight ends, might I add.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Montana won the Super Bowl with.
It's funny, y'all just mentioned Baltimore Ravens, and a Baltimore Raven fan just walked up on me, man.
Number one, nigga. Number one.
Tell me you can go ahead.
Waiting on my crew to come out there and stuff.
Okay. Tell him Lamar Jackson go ahead.
You're right.
I got to go back. Because I just need to do that. Hold on.
I mean, they gonna be happy with they can't win the big game quarterback, aka James Harden.
Oh boy, it's already a start, Sam. Oh, they mad at hell, boy. They mad at hell about this.
Nobody cares, man. Don't nobody care. It's true. It's true. Every big game, he turns into a fucking sucker.
Yup. Yeah. See the time they can't understand it. We running on out there because our undrafted rookie free agent, I'm talking about, was spot on. You can't find a better analogy for Lamar Jackson than what Kobe Bryant said. The James Harden of the NFL. It was perfect and it was spot on. You out here mad at the truth? You're mad at the truth?
Oh yeah, I'm glad my buddy Joe walked out. Cause boy, he worshipped Lamar Jackson.
Oh, he about to get smoked, boy.
You
right.
Y'all about to get me cussed out. That's what y'all gonna do. Get me cussed out. That boy worshipped Lamar Jackson, man.
What's that going on to remind you of that?
You gonna get me cussed out.
Hey, listen, man. I mean, got folks in Raven Nation, you got folks in this Falcon fan base. Yeah, how you going? How undrafted Rick? He need to worry about this. What? He got asked the question and answered it.
And then
and it was the thought for answer.
And then it's also the thought, like I was about to say, on folks thinking. See, they automatically put in their mindset that we was building around Kyle Pitts. No, we ain't building around Kyle Pitts. The man clearly told you. The man clearly told you from day one, we gonna BPA. Kyle Pitts at that time was BPA.
Yep.
In fact, he was ranked like the second person in the draft overall.
Yep.
But a couple teams in front of us needed quarterbacks.
Mhm.
Worse than we did.
These are facts.
So, I mean, but that don't mean we building around them. Hell, we got to hold the field at tight end. He's the best player available. Let's get him.
See that I think the if people get it misconstrued, you know what I'm saying, especially when it comes to draft position. You know what I mean? You're a top 10 pick, so you're expected to carry a team, and it just might be an instrumental player, you know what I'm saying, as part of a bigger picture. But people don't think like that.
Oh man, it's real bad at basketball. Boy, it's real bad at basketball. All I keep number 4 overall pick. He not living up to number 4 overall pick expectation, and that's when I ask, what are the expectations?
Right.
Yep.
They can
I
never
mean,
give you the answer with that.
What are the expectations? Then they go to
yeah.
start stumbling and making up shit.
I mean, they were expecting him to give you, you know what I'm saying, Brock Bowers' goddamn numbers. Well, Brock Bowers was the only weapon over there in Vegas. I mean, okay, that's why his numbers are ballooned up. Right? Taking nothing away from him as a player, but he's the only fucking weapon on that offense.
Yeah. Of course, you're gonna have those types of numbers when you're the only target on there, and that's why when we say Kyle Pitts, he got his numbers because he was literally one of the only weapons on that offense.
Right.
But that
You had Russell Gage as Mr. Third Down. I'm just saying it
It
was
was
the best receiver on the
him
team.
and CP.
And Zacchaeus.
That was it. Him and CP. That was it.
the tight end is supposed to be a help. Well, in layman, just normal terms, man, the tight end is essentially just a helper of the offense. He just helps the wide receiver core out. He helped the offensive line, and he hit the quarterback out.
Yep.
He's the helper.
Security blanket, basically.
That's all. That's all. Tom Brady wound up becoming the greatest quarterback of all time, mostly using his tight end. His tight end backs out the backfield. That's it.
I mean, Buck Trey Bolts. Look, okay, when you put that particular quarterback in perspective, look, in college, his size and his speed made him a matchup difficult. You couldn't put a linebacker on him because he run bad, and you couldn't put a cornerback or a safety on him because he was too tall. Right? So I mean, it was what it was. Again, I said it then and I say it now. Florida did him no favors as a tight end being prepared for the NFL. He didn't.
Well, he ran a lot of wide receiver routes.
Yeah.
Because he had that rare combination of size and speed.
Yes. Yep. And then all of a sudden you started hearing that little nickname, the unicorn. That where that bullshit came from. Corey said, I think the tight end is like a power forward in basketball. You know what I'm saying, on the football field. But it's still look, I know a lot of y'all, didn't watch football, you know what I'm saying, besides the people that's on this panel, didn't watch, football back in the, 80s, early 90s, to understand, what a tight end. If you didn't see Kellen Winslow Sr., Mark Bavaro, Dwight Clark, and, and these guys, then you're not understanding what we are trying to tell you. All right. The numbers that Kyle Pitts got last season were basically average tight end numbers. They were basically tight end numbers. If you look at tight end numbers throughout the history of the game, especially from the late 80s going through the 90s, yeah, 700 yards, if that in some cases, was a good year for a tight end. You know what I'm saying? A tight end to get 47 to 50 catches in a season, have almost, you know what I'm saying, from 670 to 700 yards. Shit, that's a career number. Career number.
I think a lot of the fans got spoiled off about 5 tight ends that played the game that had high volume numbers. Gonzalez, Gates,
Antonio Gates,
Grunk, Kittle. Now, a lot of these guys, that's who a lot of the fans spoiled off of. But from an average standpoint, you if you get 60 catches out of tight end, that's a great year for him.
Yep.
If you get 750 yards or better out of a tight end, that's a great year for him. So
yeah. Who's going to be trying? Well, we picked up his 5th year option, bro. Kyle Pitts ain't going nowhere. Like we were saying earlier, if we were going to do that, it would have happened during the draft.
Yeah.
I mean, we got guys. Like you said, we got Charlie Warner. We have some young guys
if they were going to pick up his option to trade him, they would have done it right away. Like soon as they picked up the option, boom, we trade him. They wouldn't have waited past the draft. They picked up his option before the draft, right? When he wasn't traded.
They did it last year.
Yeah. When he wasn't traded during the draft, he's not gonna be traded now. Don't confuse his situation with Kirk Cousins' situation. Kirk Cousins' situation, to my understanding, if the Falcons want to move him, they had to wait post June 1st. Is that right, or correct me if I'm wrong?
No, that's right.
Yeah. So they had to wait post June 1st. So if he's going to even in his case, if he's going to be moved, if he ain't moved within the next 10 days, by like the 10th of June, maybe the 15th, he's not going to get traded. He's just going to be the highest paid backup in the league, and he's going to come to work and do his fucking job. And if he don't, he'll get fined by the day. That's how that works.
Pretty much. What up, youngin?
Man,
Get your ass out of here. What the hell you doing in here? Get your ass out of here, little man. Motherfucker, you gotta go through the same treatment everybody else. You can get your ass cut off.
You can get the fire too, nigga.
You get the hazing just like everybody else. You get the rookie hazing. So you ain't no rook no more. The season ain't started, so you ain't the rook. So just wait for the season to start. You ain't gonna you'll be a part of the team officially.
Hey.
Man, don't look at me like that. don't look at me like that, man.
Hey, oh man!
All right, what I missed, man? I was on the damn phone for a minute. What I missed?
Not much. We're talking about Kyle Pitts and tight end expectations and dispelling the idea that he's going to be traded. We picked up his 5th year option.
Yeah.
And Mike, you want to answer that question right now?
What the hell is TGIS?
I don't know what the fuck that is.
What the hell is that?
That is some bullshit.
Like, what kind of analogy is that?
I don't know.
Do you think you might be?
I done heard of TGIF.
Yeah, I
My
knew
God,
TGIF. I don't know what the fuck that. I don't know what that means. This.
I'm guessing that's supposed to be
That a
this
tight end
year.
this year. Okay, I got you. All right, my bad. Yeah, I see. I see it now. All right, my bad. I mean, the thing is, I don't have a problem with Kurt being the backup. Like, I think it's the perfect. I think it's the perfect place for him. To be honest, because he's no longer the guy that can physically hold up in the NFL. And he just got to be cool with that. But in Kurt, he not cool with that at all. But I think if you got a backup, if he's a backup, yeah, I think he'll be much better as a backup. That's where he is in his career. He can no longer physically hold up, in my opinion,
yeah.
because of not only the shoulder but the Achilles. The Achilles is
Right.
one of those death sentences, man. Like, I don't think people understand. Like, your foot, your ankles, your calf, all that shit fucked up when you mess up your Achilles. So I think he's in the perfect position to be the backup or a valuable trade, a trade option for a team that might be looking for a late year surgeons.
Yeah. I mean, don't be surprised Kurt ends up in New Orleans.
Lord. Yeah.
Yeah, they're the one team that is really, 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 right now desperate as far as the quarterback room is concerned around the league.
I mean, they got Rattler. They got the guy they drafted from Louisville. I mean, I doubt if they bring in a veteran. I'll let them two decide who's gonna be the starter, and whoever lose the battle gonna be the backup. Shit. I mean, because it
Yeah.
ain't like New Orleans is in a position. By the way, fuck the Saints. With a sick
All
dick.
the way.
But I mean, they're not in a right now. They ain't in a position to continue to compete. They still trying to get out of cap hell, all that shit. So I'm saying more likely it's gonna be Pittsburgh. I mean, all signs point to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Because Aaron Rodgers shit so fucked up right now. He's so goddamn peeled up and whatever he own that they willing to fuck with Kirk Cousins on one leg than to fuck with him.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. He look, that man on something. That mother ain't came out from that cave in about 6 months.
Bro, let me tell you something. I watched a few games with the Packers. Not the Packers, but who was he with? The Jets, right? I watched a couple games they played in. Bruh, that boy eyes goddamn pink, man.
Yeah.
He on something. Either that he was sick.
Man, the last few years, the last 3 years in Green Bay, and then last year with the Jets, blaringly told you exactly what and who Aaron Rodgers is: a locker room cancer.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and by all points and intents and purposes of where things are at now, my assessment of his situation is starting looking like it's coming true. The league was gonna escort his ass on out the door because nobody want that. What he did in New York. You get the coach fired, and then the team exponentially gets even worse. The defense goes downhill. The locker room gets fucked up, and you out here looking like Ryan Leaf as quarterback. I mean, who's gonna pick that up? And not to mention, you're 50 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That man. That man needs some pill money. That's all that is. That motherfucker high as hell. And you know the drugs, the drugs in Hollywood. That shit don't cost $40 no more in Hollywood. You add a couple zeros to that motherfucker in Hollywood. Shit. I ain't gonna tell you how I know, but I know. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, you know,
sure, Mike.
and
Hey,
he's gotten what 40 million dollars total for these last 2 seasons in New York. Yeah,
For doing nothing.
yeah, absolutely, Nathaniel. You know,
let me, hey, can we touch on it? Can we touch on Quintoris for a tick?
Oh boy.
Y'all got it.
Go ahead, True. Go.
Okay,
that you lead us into that bloody water.
okay. So over the last couple of weeks, look like Harry Douglas got him a little podcast, and I think everybody saw Roddy and Julio there, and they talking about how shitty Shanahan was and this, that, and the third. Now it done came out a few days later that goddamn Julio kind of took shots at Arthur Blank, and Arthur Blank done of course he replied. I don't understand a nigga like Julio, man. And here's why. This organization really went against the grain to
Yes.
give you, and I hope he hear this. The organization went against the grain to give you your money, nigga. When they saw you, they saw your body was breaking down,
Mm-hmm.
and they went against the grain and give you your money.
At 32, they never give players at 32 that much
Now,
money.
now, now, you come out 5 years later and want to say you felt disrespected because you wanted to talk to Arthur Blank and this, that, and the third. Well, first of all, when in what SOP is it written that the goddamn owner got to stop what the fuck he doing to talk to a player? And by the way, I don't agree to, and I don't believe he really tried to get at Arthur Blank like that. Because if he had really tried to get at Arthur Blank like that, Arthur Blank would talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
He probably reached out to him a couple times. Arthur Blank probably had shit going on. They want to get with him. Then you come out and you pull that move on national TV. Now you want to play the victim? Come on, bro.
Which was afterwards. The TV was after the fact that he got paid and was after the Falcons said they was going to draft Kyle Pitts.
I looked at Julio numbers. Julio got some impressive numbers through 12 years or 13 years. If Julio hadn't jacked off his last 3 years, he'd have been he would have left here. He would have left here just with pedestrian numbers a year. He would have left here third behind Rice and who's second in
I think
yardage.
it's Gonzalez. I might be Gonzalez, but don't
I'm
quote
talking
me.
about I'm talking about receivers. Who's second? Is it T.O. or Fitzgerald? Well, at
I
any
think he
rate,
got more than
he would have if he hadn't jacked off his last 3 years and stayed here and finished up with the Falcons. If he had an average 750 yards a year, that's how I accumulated 750 yards a year. A man who was a perennial 1,000-yard receiver, 1,012-yard receiver. He would have left here third all time in yardage. I don't know where he would have been in touchdowns, but he would have left here third all time in yardage. And you felt disrespected. You was the fastest to 5,000 yards, fastest to 7,000 yards, fastest to 8,000 yards, fastest to 11,000 yards as a receiver. And you felt disrespected. Y'all see where I'm going with that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what's amazing? When I hear fans say, Matt held Julio back. Is that right? Both of these motherfuckers sit up here and set records together. If you go and look at Matt's numbers, Matt's resume is more impressive. I read some shit on Matt last week. I didn't know he was Matt was the fastest to the 25, 30,
Feedback, Sam. Feedback.
25, 30, 35, and 40,000 yards. All that shit with Julio. I don't get it, bro. But hey, it is what it is. That's all I got.
It just sounds like a bunch of coward shit. Like I said it before. I just think Julio just he listened to all the background noise from the media and he's fan that said you don't really you were the reason why Matt was successful. That's what I feel. Like I said, I see it all the time. People that I've been around, people that I've trained. Like once motherfuckers start feeling themselves and they've gotten to a certain spot, they start getting wise. They start getting slick at the mouth, and they just start doing things that just like I don't want to say out of their character because once you show who you are, like I said, you know how to say like once you show me who you are, I believe you. But like this has been Julio the whole time, and I'm saying he was just waiting for the right time and opportunity to show who he really is. And that shit what he did to Mr. Blank, like you knew Arthur Smith had already became the head coach. He was already hired as the head coach. You knew for a fact that you had a problem with it. You knew you had a problem with it. You already signed the contract. You signed that contract. You need to be like if you sign a contract, you need to be a man of your word. You signed the contract for the
Hey, what's happening?
Look, don't be trying to holler at $40 hollers while you're on a damn show, like what the fuck is this shit?
Right. Whole hopping on live.
Like what the hell is going on?
When you go to heaven, sir, that was one of my classmates. Stop it, please.
You don't mean never mind.
That was one of my classmates and her husband, sir. Gee whiz. I told you I don't engage in those type of activities any longer, okay? I've changed, okay?
Yes, sir. I apologize.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't believe you.
I have, Anthony.
No. Once the heathen is always a heathen.
No, that's not true.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that, man.
What that saying go? You can't change your hoe into no house fight.
Hey!
Whoa.
That's not true.
Anthony, man, I thought we was on our best behavior.
Damn.
You can't change a gigolo into a hubby.
Oh Lord.
There it is.
No. I've given myself to the Lord. And listen, I've changed, okay? I'm on a different path.
That's crazy. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Listen,
Hallelujah.
I'm not gonna let the devil work on me. I am a Christian under construction.
Oh man.
God ain't through with me yet.
And that building done crumbled twice.
Hey, Sam, third time's the charm.
Right. You know, y'all got a sense of humor. Hey, but man, Julio Jones, man, the mere fact that he actually decided to fix his face to say some of the stuff that he said on that podcast, that was some real unmanly type things from a perspective, you know, playing the victim. You know, you weren't producing. You were mad with the Arthur Smith hire because you knew you wasn't gonna get that laid back treatment that Dan Quinn was giving you. Because Dan Quinn was feeding into that whole thing where he really didn't have to do certain particular things, you know, and then with the guys on the unit, there was a lot of tension because of him, because he wasn't putting in the work that the rest of the guys were putting in.
Yep.
Showing up to the camp with, with Matt, with the extra, workouts before training camp and shit. I mean, and then come on, then the one time you did, what happened? We go to the Super Bowl. So that right there in itself, to me, kind of shut down all any other. And then you got a lot like Mike said, a lot of posts with, on the whole trainer he made Matt. And some of y'all fake woke folk, you need to go play in traffic with some of the stuff y'all say. You just really do, and then all the attention and all the views and all of that stuff, behind his comments, and the Falcons did him wrong. No, the fuck they did not. He did himself wrong. Okay, and he wasn't business smart either. Okay, you put your name on a contract that you had no business putting your name on with the guys that were coming up that was gonna reset the market. And when Keenan Allen and Michael Thomas and Evans them got their contract, and then you went to whining because you weren't the highest paid receiver. Well, your damn agent was the one that got you screwed. Listen to that bullshit. Sitting putting their damn name on that contract. And then Arthur goes out and makes sure we went and dug up the damn money to give you the damn extra $66 million. And then what you do the following year?
Play 9 games.
You know what I'm saying? You didn't take care of yourself as a superstar receiver. You were a whole defensive chain. You had the same type of injury, them facial injuries, tweaked hamstring, strained calf. You know what I'm saying? Foot sprains. All of that there was never from you not taking care of yourself. You did yourself, this team, and this city a disservice. So all that out there, going out there playing the victim, acting and making out like Arthur Blank did you wrong. No, you did yourself wrong. You had a whole entire opportunity to go out as one of the best, if not the best. You had a chance to put your name up there next to Jerry Rice, if not on top of Jerry Rice as a receiver.
Mm-hmm.
But you weren't willing to do the work. You went diva on us. You had the chance to go out as one of the GOATs at receiver, if not the GOAT. But you chose to tuck your goddamn panty liner between your legs and walk off crying. Okay, so all of y'all out there they're singing that pity po me shit with him. Fuck you and him. Because you don't get the accolades. You don't get the accolades when you don't put in the work. When you're lazy and you overestimate yourself and you bring the team down with you. Okay, so anybody that's out here trying to defend that nigga, fuck you too. It's about the name on the front and the emblem on the helmet, not the name on the back. And you would do well to remember that in a lot of occasions. Now, you know what I'm saying? We've been in this thing an hour and 15. I know, Mike, y'all coming on tonight?
Hell no, I'm chilling, goddamn. I done uploaded about 30 videos in the last 3 days. Hell no.
Okay. Well, we done pretty much. Now, outside of, talking a little bit more about Lamar Jackson, I don't think it's pretty much nothing else we can do. I mean, because I'm loving that.
I have a video dropping. I'll probably have a couple more videos dropping by the end of the night. So,
yeah, let's give a shout out to the Atlanta Dream starting off 5-2.
Right.
They're on like a little week break, and they get back at it Friday. But they playing well, really. And if you look at their losses, they 57-0. But
matter of fact, while I'm thinking about it, Truth, can you and Ant give us a Braves report?
Ain't much to give. I mean, you're not consistently winning series. That's a problem. The bats are inconsistent. The bullpen is inconsistent. You're not gonna win like that. Bats inconsistent and bullpen is inconsistent. You're not gonna win like that. That's just what it is. The Mets and the Phillies ain't going nowhere. So
yeah,
the Braves might be boxing in it. Have to make a change, and it might be Snickers head.
So we're talking about possible fire sale coming up here pretty soon, huh?
Well, it ain't gonna be no fire. I don't think it'll be a fire sale. But if you know you're not gonna be in it, or you know you're gonna have a hard time trying to get back in it around the middle of July, the trade deadline is July the 31st.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know why Schnick keep running that Iglesias got old ass out there, you know what I'm saying, trying to save games, and he giving up runs.
Who was in there? It wasn't him that was in there yesterday, and he gave. I forgot who was in there, but they gave up. Let's see, a 3-run home run in the top of the ninth.
Ooh,
it was 5-3 at the time, and Strider, you can see he's still rusty. So they need to figure something out fast.
Well, this is what we got for y'all today. I guess that pretty much rounds out this pot of tea. We in sports tea. Unless, you know what I'm saying, when y'all got anything else to add, we can go on and close this thing out.
No, man. I missed that. Oh, so.
Well, this is the OG for Questlove and Bowler Dynamite down low.
My hair ain't out today, sir.
Never mind.
You go to hell too. Both of y'all can go to hell.
I'm not doing it.
Nate, you keep talking shit. I got something for you.
Who?
You.
I ain't did it.
Keep co-signing that shit.
Oh man, Bucks raised boats, Corey, Christy. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all joining. What's happening, Coach? What's happening? It's raining out here too.
That's so
appreciate everybody, you know what I'm saying, for tuning in and whatnot. You see, I don't know what you might have for the rest of the night, but I know, you know what I'm saying, the guys got something for you tomorrow night. Yeah, and I'll be right back at you on Friday, you know what I'm saying, with Afternoon Madness. With some more, especially with some Falcon material. I will be discussing the effects of the brouhaha between Bergeron and Onyemata, you know what I'm saying, in practice on Friday, as one of the topics. Look forward to that. You know, in some other instances, some more, you know what I'm saying, we have some more Penix talk and Zach Robinson in this offense as well. I am your guy, OG Big Sam, Young Knight, down low, the franchise next to me. Appreciate Mad Mike for coming on. Appreciate Truth for coming on. Hey, man, we got to keep it A. You got to keep it dirty. And most notably, you got to keep it real with yourself. Let your next choice be your best choice, man. Hey, y'all be safe out there in that rain. And we out.
Peace.